welcome to my 35-week update. I'm actually 35 weeks and 6 days today, so I'm nearly 36 weeks, and I've officially started my maternity leave, which is a bit scary. So yeah, I don't know if I talked about it in my last video, but basically it was the end of December and it just felt like a bit of a natural end to finish. I don't know if I've made the right decision yet. I've potentially now got 6 weeks until the baby arrives if I go 2 weeks overdue, which is a really long time to be sat at home. I'm conscious of not going out and spending money every day, which I think is really easy to do on maternity leave because you kind of want to get out and about, and that often involves going shopping or going for coffee with friends or lunch, and obviously you have to be a bit mindful of money when you're on maternity leave. But that said, I have waited until I've gone off to do a lot of the stuff for the baby and buy a lot of the stuff for the baby, so I kind of have to spend a little bit of money, which is a bit scary. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I want to make sure that I get ready for the birth, and also that I wash all his clothes and get his nursery ready, so I'm feeling okay about it so far. It's only about day 3. I can see how people would get lonely, so I want to make sure that I kind of fill my time as much as possible. So yeah, maternity leave is going well so far. I want to get my channel up and running as well, so that's given me something to focus on. Yeah, also what's happened in the last sort of week is that 2 of the ladies that we did the birthing classes with have actually had their babies. They were quite far ahead of us, so they were like maybe 4 weeks ahead of us when we did the classes last month. So they were due. So we've had a little boy called Leo and a little girl as well join our ranks, which is amazing. That kind of prompted me to think a little bit about my birth plan, or as I prefer to call it, my birth preferences. And I think that's really important because it's really important to me that we stay open to all options when it comes to the birth plan, because just to give you an example, one of the ladies that had the little boy, Leo, she was very sort of adamant that she wanted a home birth, and they'd hired a doula and they had a pool and they really didn't want any medical intervention or drugs, and she actually ended up having her little boy in hospital because he was measuring quite small. So I think that indicates how flexible you have to be with this sort of thing and put the baby first and kind of just go with the flow. But the great thing about Daisy birthing, the classes that we did, is, well, 2 things really. One, you do a really good mixture of labour and delivery and also parenting skills over the course. So we learn, yes, how to manage your pain during labour, but then also how to look after the baby afterwards and how to swaddle and bath and feed and all those sort of things, which I thought were really useful, especially for my husband who's never kind of dealt with a newborn baby before. And then the other thing is that they give you a pain ladder. So it's less about saying I want this and not this, and more about saying I want to try these things first before I kind of get up to that point where I would have an epidural. So I have kind of got a rough idea of what we want to do. So when we go into early labour, they recommend that you stay at home for as long as possible because that's your environment, and obviously you don't know how long it's going to be on for, and kind of keeping as calm as possible is really important. Keeping UFO, so upright, forward and open. So what I'm going to try and do, I think, as soon as I go into labour is go for a really nice long walk. We live right by a National Trust park, so I'm going to try and kind of go for a walk and keep upright. I'm going to try and do some cooking, stood upright maybe. They say like make a lasagna for when you come home from the hospital. So yeah, just try and keep my mind occupied and on something else basically. And then the things that I'm going to try before I try the drugs are a bath. So they say that using a bath and water at the right time is as effective as a shot of diamorphine. So I'm a big bath person. I have a bath every single night. So a bath with the lights low and candles. I'm also going to use aromatherapy. So clary sage is something that they recommend using, not until you're ready to go into labour. But clary sage and lavender, because I've been using lavender all the way through with my pillow spray, to try and help me sleep. So clary sage and lavender with aromatherapy during your deep breathing. Breathing is a massive one, obviously. I know it's such a cliche in labour, but my goodness, I did not realise how effective breathing could be. We've been doing it a couple of times when I've been in pain at night, and we've kind of been practicing, and they teach you this breath called a centered breath, which is basically just in for 4, out for 8, in through your nose, out through your mouth, with your eyes closed, and that is so effective for me. It's incredible how effective that's actually been. So using the breathing, and Paul can actually sit opposite me and sort of stroke me as I'm breathing and hold my head and hold my back and help me feel secure. There's loads of different things that you can do. We can also use the scarf therapy. I think it's called REBOZO, or I'll link it down below so that you've got a proper description of it. But basically it involves different positions where you might be on all fours and you use the scarf and they take the weight of your bump and kind of like breathe in and breathe out with you, and it's a bit odd and it looks really strange, but it really works. So I'm going to try those 3 things first. The main thing that Daisy warned you of is the transition from your house to the hospital. It's 25 minutes from the house to the hospital that we're going to use, and we have a Mini and it's a really bumpy road. It's not the most comfortable car, so making sure that you keep your headphones in, keep your music that you're listening to plugged in, and create a bit of a nest in the car so that you don't break out of that zone and the adrenaline doesn't kick in, because that's when the pain sort of happens. So yeah, music is another big thing. Music doesn't really work for me, and visualization hasn't really worked for me, but what has worked is the sound of rain on a tin roof or rain on a window. You can get 8 hours of it on YouTube, which is good because I think I might need that long. But just that paired with your eyes closed and the breathing, sort of staying in that zone, is basically all that hypnobirthing is. So I'm definitely going to practice those things as we get into these last few weeks. They're the main things that I'm going to try, and then obviously once we get to the hospital I want to get into the pool if I can, although I am aware that some ladies all the way through are absolutely adamant they want to use the pool, and then they get there and they just can't stand the water. So pool, hopefully. If not, try and keep as upright as possible. I've got a birthing ball. Just try and help not lying on the bed too much, because that's not the best position for you to be in when you're in labour. So try and letting gravity help me, and stay like that, and just repeating those things. Also try and keep the number of people in the room to a minimum. So a really great but weird analogy that the lady used is you wouldn't give birth in any other surroundings and settings than you would be comfortable having a poo in, which also might happen when I give birth. But if you think about if you went to the toilet at work, or if you went to the toilet in public and someone else came in, you would probably stop and wait until that person had left and be quite conscious of that. And birth's exactly the same. So you're less inclined to be able to relax if there's more people and more sets of eyes on you. So trying to keep it just quite a personal, calming experience with lights off and candles on, and just as many people out of the room as possible. And then at that stage, if things escalated, then I would be prepared to sort of look at your different options, starting from gas and air, trying that to kind of like the pethidine, dimorphine, the injections. But obviously as you get into that sort of higher sort of pain relief threshold, you might have to move to a consultant-led ward, and you also might have to get out of the pool, which I don't really want to do. The other things that I want to try are not having the injection for assisted placenta delivery, because that can affect the oxytocin, the love hormone, that you instantly get that rush of love when your baby's born, whereas if you have that injection it's synthetic oxytocin. So there's potential for that to sort of be block your natural hormones. So I kind of want to see if we can just wait a few moments and see if I can deliver the placenta naturally. Similarly, I kind of want to wait until the cord stops pulsating, so that the nutrients in the blood can leave that and go to the baby as much as possible, before we cut the cord. Nothing too drastic. I know some people carry it around for like 3 days until it goes white and falls off, but I don't want to do any of that. I also want to try the golden hour with the baby, so there's an option for you not to have to be separated for the baby in the first hour, and the baby to be gone straight onto your chest, skin to skin, and kind of have that hour to sort of get to know your baby, as opposed to them being whisked off and weighed and dressed and all those sort of things. It also helps with breastfeeding, so if you put your baby on your tummy, they will actually naturally crawl kind of up to your breast and latch on in quite a natural way. So I kind of want to try those things, although I'm very aware that I might have no idea what's going on at that point and be drugged up to the eyeballs. So yeah, I kind of want to try all of those things before, and Paul's very aware, and that's really important that Paul's aware of our preferences, because you don't kind of want to be coming out of that zone to have those conversations with your midwife. So I'm going to write all that down in my birth plan, in my maternity notes. And it's also Paul's job to make sure that the midwife takes notice of those notes, because obviously they're very busy, they might not have the time to do that. So yeah, that's kind of the rough plan. That said, I'm going to be totally open to what the doctors recommend, but I think it's just more about questioning if it is the right thing for you, as opposed to just the normal procedure. And that was what Daisy birthing kind of helped me question those things and say, well, yeah, this is normally what they would recommend, but why is that? So pushing's a great example. They refer to chin to chest, sort of like bearing down pushing, as purple pushing, which can actually increase the chances of you tearing. I have been doing perineal massage, or attempting to when I can reach, which is basically just inserting your fingers every sort of day into where your perineum is, and with some olive oil or some vitamin E oil or sweet almond oil, and just sort of gently stretching the area to prevent tearing, because that is one of my main fears and concerns, I suppose. So yeah, I think purple pushing I'm going to try not to do. Actually, if you breathe and do downwards breaths while your body is sort of convulsing and wanting to push, it will naturally push your baby out. It might take a little bit longer, but it will actually do it for you. So I kind of want to prevent myself from doing too much purple pushing, although at that stage I understand that you really want to meet your baby and you would do anything to do that. Similarly, I want to kind of avoid induction because of the synthetic hormones that they would kind of push into your body. I know this sounds really hippie-ish, but I kind of want to try and at least attempt not to do these things and try all the natural things to induce labour. That said, come and see me at 40 weeks. I might be absolutely desperate to get this baby out and be begging for anything. Cesarean is something that I am open to, obviously, if it's the right thing for the baby, but want to try and avoid as much as possible. So that's kind of the plan. That said, I will be doing a birth video and a labour delivery story, and it was probably going to be completely different to this, so bear with me. So yeah, that's kind of where we are for 35 weeks, nearly 36 weeks. Obviously things will start to progress as we go on and the weeks fly by. This week weight gain's been pretty steady. I haven't put any weight on this week. I'm still 9 stone 7, which is 1 stone 5 pounds up from my start weight. I feel pretty good. I've been exercising again, going to the gym, because obviously I've got a little bit more time now. It's not been Christmas, so less chocolate, more healthy food. Definitely been craving fruit this week, so kind of like mango, pineapple, grapes, apples, all that good stuff, which is really good. Orange juice, massive orange juice person. Low blood pressure's been fine. It's actually been increasing, which is quite normal as pregnancy goes on. He is moving like crazy, and he's all over the place, and he's all limbs, and I don't know where he is. I think he's head down. My midwife said at my last checkup on Wednesday, but I feel limbs everywhere, so I don't know where he is right now. And also my iron levels seem to be fine, so I'm continuing to take my iron tablets with vitamin C. So yeah, all that's really left is for me to show you the bump for 35 weeks. So I'll just move this out of the way. So this is the bump for 35 weeks. So I don't feel like it's got any bigger really. Still managing to avoid the majority of stretch marks. Yeah. I think still got that little bit of darkening, but I don't feel too bad really this week. Definitely felt worse. Wearing a lot of black, a lot of elasticatedness. So yeah, that is the bump for 35 weeks. So yeah, definitely check in with you next week. I'm 36 weeks, getting up to that full term stage, and I'm also going to try and film a lot of the videos that I want to do before he gets here, like what's in my hospital bag, what's in his hospital bag, and hopefully do a nursery tour. But please let me know if you want to see anything specific. I'll link all the links in the description box below for Daisy birthing and for anything else that I've mentioned in this video. But if there's anything that you fancy me making, please let me know, and I will definitely make some videos that you guys want to watch, because I've got quite a lot of time on my hands now. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.